All right, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome everyone. Just waiting for people to join in. We're gonna go ahead and make a poster, because why not? I just want to show you some of those pro tips for making a poster in Photoshop. So thank you so much for joining me. I can see you now. Fantastic. Perfect. Hi there, Lino. Good to have you here. So we'll go ahead and get started. And again, thanks so much for joining me. I'm going to go ahead and dive into this, kind of see what I'm working on and working with. You can see this fun little project, just to give you an idea. Cool. So Lino, this is what I have, just so you know. It's all about sort of integrating type with photography, right? So to make a poster, and we'll dive into that right now. So let's do this. Valder, awesome, good to have you here. So if you guys like this, I just actually made this earlier today. I could hit FF. You could see this a little larger, just kind of doing a layering effect. Just something that is more eye attention, sort of attention grabbing than just standard text on a background. So I can kind of show you how to do this, as well as some other things. So let's kind of take a look. Typically where we'll start is we'll go File, New. We'll do, you can see in print, we do have some print sizes, but actually we want to do 11 by 17. Okay, 300 DPI, hit create. Think about when you're making posters, of course, you do want to use some vector elements. Of course, this is about Photoshop and not Illustrator, but I can use vector elements if I want to. You can see this is for San Francisco Film Festival. So I'm selecting this. This is all vector content, copying that, coming over here. Let's invert that background color. Let's paste this in as a smart object, right? That's what I'd typically do. So hopefully that works for you. Smart object means that it's going to be vector independent. So, and I can change it in Illustrator later, which is fantastic. Clicking OK. There's that graphic, by the way. I can stretch that out. It is actually there. I need to change the background. Again, just invert it. You can see this is what we have, this vector smart object. Okay, and again, this is where we get to start to have some fun. What's up, Jason? Good to see you, man. I know Jason's also interested in making logos, so we could always do that. I don't know, for like maybe a financial planning business or something, could do that. All right, fantastic. Here we are. We'll throw some text at this as well. A lot of times I'm grabbing images from other places, so I typically want to sort of tile all my content, right? So I would grab some images. I actually have some other text over here, I think, as well. SF Film Festival. Let's do some fun things right in here. Let's change this color. Make that a little darker so you can see what we're dealing with. San Francisco Film Festival. I've tiled all these. I made this a shortcut, by the way, because I usually tile a lot of images and then I go back to seeing this full screen and then tiling like so, using a shortcut key, and then I can grab, the image that I want. Maybe this one, the skyline. Maybe grab another skyline. Just some different elements as I start to make this poster. And again, this is kind of what I'm going for. This was one from earlier. You can see that I'm working on that. So, Moonir, it's good to see you. And Jason, Go Paul, what's up? Matthias as well from Germany. Good to have you here. Always want to hear where people are from. And other people on Facebook. Muriel, hello. Awesome, fantastic. So that's what I'm working on. I'm grabbing imagery. Of course, when it comes to creating any sort of content, you do want to think about diversity as well. And again, just loading in all sorts of images. So this is where it is at. Let's grab her. There we are, like that. A number of images, and then we can focus on this one right here. Okay. Okay, so I want to point out, since I was dropping in those images, and if I'm even searching through, let's go to stock.adobe.com, something like that. I can find the images that I want because that's where those images came from. Okay, so regardless, I'm searching San Francisco. Let's do that really fast. You can see a number of images right in here. Pretty standard stuff. I actually really like this one as well. This one has nice color. Here's another one. Right, I can actually sync this one to my library. When I click right there, let's actually log in. Ah, that's why they're not coming up. I do have to log in. Let's sign in really fast. It's going to sync to my Creative Cloud library. Okay, so right over here, as I move this over, you can see these images. These are all from my Creative Cloud library. So once I'm signed in, you can see this image right here. This is already licensed, so this makes it even easier. I can save this to my library called People. So from there, click, saving it to my library. Let's move it. Yeah, there it goes. It's saving to the city library, but I can move it to, say, the people library if I want to. So we'll see that image pop up right over here. Wait for it. Oh, they got some cool images. What is this one? Ah, so cool. That might be a cool image to use. But that will get synced to this particular folder. And we'll see that load in a second. There it is, down at the bottom. So the reason I want to point this out, since we're making posters, we want these to be as high res as possible. So I'll bring this image in. Notice that it's linked back to my particular Creative Cloud file. If I double click on it, I could see the image size, for instance, and I can see this is 300 dpi and it's pretty large, 9 by 5. That works for me, okay? But the thing is, it's linked back to that image, and then I can start to lay out my poster. I'm not going to lose any quality is the point. Oh yeah, Trish, you're always looking for ideas? Oh, I'd be happy to show you. It's all about sticking to current trends, because even what I was doing over here on Pinterest, just go ahead and search for, movie posters. Right? Use Pinterest. Always look for ideas. I typically know some general tips and tricks. Maybe we'll just do Photoshop posters. Let's see what happens in here. And we can make any one of these. I love this look. Look, music festival. We could easily do that. Ah, look. Holy cow. Exactly what I made. Oh, look at this one. Another one we can make with the number of images. Ah, so gorgeous. Gorgeous. You get the idea. So that's typically where I go. I typically like playing with fonts. Use a serif font. So we have San Francisco. And have some fun kind of breaking it up like this. Like so. Let's maybe get rid of this. Let's turn on one. Keeping this simple. I'll probably create a number of ideas. Anytime you're making any design, you need to make sure you ground it. Okay, so notice how this type is floating around here. This is more of a design aesthetic. Let's go ahead and grab just a bar, and I'd put a bar kind of around that. And what that does, it kind of anchors all of this. Otherwise, it's just not all floating around. It adds some balance for this graphic to this one right down here. And the big thing is, I obviously don't want to over design it. Okay, there we go. We got some names coming in. Miguel, New York City in the house. Dubai is here. Italy. Good to see some friends from Dubai and Italy. I'm sure it's a little late there, so I appreciate you tuning in. India, looks like India as well. Sai as well. Cool. So here's one already. We could actually go with this. This actually might work as a potential idea. Okay. Let's kind of break that up. Let's take this. Let's make it a little larger. There we go. Poster 1. Saving it. Remember, these graphics are all linked. This is vector. This is vector. This is going to be super clean and easy to work with, right? Is it that fun from, I don't know, a design standpoint? It's gray, okay? And what are we trying to do? We're trying to add some excitement. So let's add some exciting colors to it, okay? And I'll start with maybe a gradient. Why not? Let's go like this. Or sort of a pink to a teal. We'll just try this out just for kicks, just to see what happens. We'll throw that down in the background. So this is already working out a little better, right? Anytime you have really large fonts, you can do this fun stuff like overlapping them. Just typically don't mess with the first letter or the last letter. That's when it's going to be hard to read. But have some fun like overlapping content, right? Otherwise, it's just too literal and boring. But we do still want to make this a quick read because the one job a graphic designer has is to convey information visually. Right? So that's what we want to do. So San Fran Film Festival. You get the idea. I would probably even want to switch up the font a little bit. Let's kind of go beyond this because I want to have some more fun with this. Let's go beyond this vector smart object. Okay, let's get rid of that. Let's throw in the skyline maybe. What do we got here? We have this one. Oh, this is nice too. Right? Let's flip it this way. Let's make this more interesting. Making this larger. San Francisco. From there, taking this graphic, we'll change this blend mode. Just by rolling over these different blend modes, layer blend modes, it will start changing it. And already it has a cool look. This has a more romantic look to it. Oh, so I would love to give you, Sai, I would love to give you some tips for color selection. So you don't want to pick colors for no reason. You want to have a reason for everything that you do as a designer. Typically, people know those reasons. I think what art school tells you why you do what you naturally do. So in this case, I'm picking these colors that add a little, I don't know, cinematic look, right? A romantic look, right? That's why we'd change this to overlay or something else. We're giving it a romantic look because that's what film does, right? That's why we'd add this overcast. But we're also fully aware of the fact that pink is pretty hot right now. Teal is pretty hot. We know a dusty pink is very hot right now as well. So we have poster number 2, save as. Boom. Let's take this a step further because this text is still boring, right? You should be calling me out on this. So boring. Anissa, hey, good to see you. Oh, yeah. Let's grab another image. I don't know. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, yeah. Let's get this one. Let's rotate it. Let's scale it up. And if you hit Command 0, you'll be able to see the whole bounding box for this particular image. And we could do something like this. Boom. Okay. Now we could just have fun really quickly with this image. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to create best way to do this is just do poster 3. So we're going to make 3 in no time. We'll get rid of these because I think it's going to be confusing. Just to simplify it for everybody watching. All right. We have, wait for it, 2 images. We want to make a layer sandwich. Basically, I want some of these buildings to be in front of that text, right? So this is what I would typically do. I'll come down here to my layer mask. That's where I want to create a layer mask, and I'll hold down the Option key, okay? When I do that, click, it paints it black. Okay, so now I can actually start filling it with white. Okay, and when I paint with white on here, that's when it's going to bring it. It's going to bring it back. So in here, just make a selection really fast. This is another thing I would do is I'd take this text, San Francisco, I would drop it down to like, really like 2% or whatever. Boom, there we are. Boom, boom, boom. I get it. I could do maybe use the quick selection tool, but this is already way complex. So this is our life, as Anissa knows, as all you designers know, this is our life. This is what we do for a living, is outline things constantly, right? These colors are so similar. The easiest way to do this, you're just gonna have to use the selection tool like I'm doing right now. Boom, 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 boom. Going as fast as I can. I can see that C, so that's what I want. I want to overlap that C. Coming up here, just like that. What do? We fill this with, you guessed it, white. And now it's in front of this text, as we'd expect. All right. All right, let's duplicate this layer. Let me know how you're doing. I want to talk about using color, by the way. I think that was like a very good call. I think that's something people struggle with. And I think what you should do when it comes to color is, in this case, I probably want to manipulate the color of this image. And I either want to use the, let's mask this out, invert it. There we go. There we go. We're just having fun now. If I want to sort of work on the color, I can go down here to my adjustment layers, and I might want to play with the color balance. So anytime we want two images to match, we'd play with color balance. Lino says, this is so boring, jazz up the text. You're exactly right, and that's exactly what I'm doing. By doing this layer effect, we're making this text more interesting. The reason I kept it as a simple font is because we still need to make it legible, okay? But if I made it an interesting font and then did this layering, it might get too complex. All right, so but thank you so much for that, because I think you are spot on in terms of a design and what we want to do. Let me get into the color in a second. Let me just kind of fix this as well. L for lasso. Selecting this, we don't have to get it perfect. Again, I want to make this entertaining for you and informative. That's why I'm going to rush through this, eliminate that, crank up that, like that. And another thing I would do is I would mask out, one more thing, wait for it. Shoo, shoo. Take this down, wait for it. Shoo, 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 shoo. You get the idea. This is nothing new. This is just a hot poster or an interesting design idea that is honestly not new. I feel like I've been doing this for years, right? So there we have that. What can we do right in here really fast? Hit B for brush. The size is down pretty small. Let's add some shading right in there. Adding some shading right in here. Where does that color come from? Let's actually not use black. Let's use a color of the building. So it's going to be that blue. Okay, that's what we want to use, is that nice blue right here. Okay, so that's what that color is. And start just kind of adding a little bit of depth right in there to cover that up. Vicky just got here. Vicky, well, I guess we'll just start from the beginning. I think we can start now that Vicky's here. Fantastic. San Francisco. There we got it. Our fun poster so far. Let's play with colors. There's a couple things we could do. Like I mentioned, we want to match colors. We probably want to do a color balance. Okay, this is where we match colors. We sort of play with the magenta, things like that. Honestly, the easiest thing you can do, and the thing that I like to use the most, is right up here using color lookup. Since this is for a film festival, I can say, hey, let's go ahead and use some actual film lookup tables. So right in here, let's do this Fuji 3510 camera, and I get that lookup, just adds that contrast. But I can go through here and find what I like. You can get more drastic in here. Oh, Kathy, thank you so much. You're very kind. I really appreciate you. Some of the titles of these give it away, right? Horror Blue. No, if it was a horror film festival, you know, then I would maybe go with this. But it still actually looks pretty cool. My favorite is right up here at the top. Okay. Make it pop. Love color. Kath, good call. So Kath, what this does, this two-strip look, eliminates all the colors except for like a teal and a pink, like a pinkish red, right? And that's what it gives me. What did I start with, by the way, as I save poster number 3? Right? What did I start with? Let's wait for it to save. Remember, this is a poster, 300 DPI, 11 by 17. If I go over to, again, this is where we start out super basic. Don't judge me, but we started out with this color. We started out really simple. And notice how we've taken roughly those same colors and applied them to this poster. And keep in mind, I can layer on all these all day long if I want to, whether it's more lookup tables or even just boosting up the saturation in this case, just to give it a more of a pop. You get the idea. Cool. Oh, good. Patrick's been using Photoshop for years and didn't know about this feature. I'm going to make a note of that. And that's, you're probably too busy making money sometimes to kind of realize some of these features that I feel like we sneak in there for some odd reason. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm glad you did. On the note of fonts, by the way, I want to be consistent with my fonts, but I could always kind of break it up too. Let's kind of bring this down right here. And this Acumen font is what I'm using. I'm going to open up the properties panel and zoom in on this. Acumen gives me the ability to adjust maybe the weight. Let's make this thinner, right? Visually scrubbing that in, right? Since this is on black and very literal, I probably want to make the weight lighter. And you know what? I want to go ahead and stretch it out some as well. Okay, so that's all I'm doing. Scrubbing on these numbers. Just making that look a little bit more elegant. Right? Okay, fantastic. Fantastic. Thanks for being here, Anwar and Samuel. I'm glad you like it. And yeah, hopefully you like these tips. Again, all I'm doing is cutting out. The secret, honestly, ends up being these nice little shadows, where I was painting in these nice shadows. That kind of gives us a little bit of depth. And one thing I'd want to do with these shadows when I was painting, it's actually painting on the background as well. So I hit B for brush. It's actually painting on the background, as you can see. And actually what you want to do is just include that on the text layer. So right over here, you could right click and create clipping mask, or just roll over it between those two, holding in the option key, click, boom. And again, before, after, before, after. It's pretty subtle, but I'm just casting those shadows on the text and nothing else. Last thing I'm going to do, I'm going to let you go, okay? Really fast, boom, boom. Selecting everything, black. Yeah, some people know this trick. Adding a lens flare, right? I'll just put it right there, sure, done, right? Lens flare, changing it to, there we go. Let's change it to lighten. There we go. I now have this lens flare that I've added that just kind of gives it sort of a nice, I kind of want to blur the lines between the text and the photo. So that's what you have. Yes, Gustavo, this video will be available later for your viewing pleasure. So again, thanks so much, everybody, for viewing. Really appreciate you hanging out with me. There's more I can add to this. Honestly, I'd probably want to list all the different films and all that fun stuff. But no, as I started, I am using smart objects to help with the resolution. And of course, I'm not rasterizing any fonts, and you get the idea. All right. Kath, thanks so much for hanging out. And again, these are the the two posters. You probably saw one in the thumbnail. Wait for it. Wait for it. There we go. Two different options. I don't know. Maybe you like one over the other. Thank you, Kathy and Samuel and Blanca and Mako and everyone. Have a wonderful day. Just appreciate you guys just hanging out on this wonderful Tuesday. Yeah, I need to go take care of some other things. Interested in more tips and tricks that you want to know, just let me know. Hit me up on Twitter. I'm going to post this to Instagram, boop, right there. As soon as I get off, or at least between today and tomorrow, I'll post the final. So thanks so much for watching. Hello, Nicole from London, as well as Kath as well. And Northern Ireland in the house. So thanks so much. The video is available in the videos tab. Wherever you're seeing this, it's going to be in the replay section. So, all right. Fantastic. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. We will talk to you later. Remember, don't forget to call your mom and floss.